We never expected nothing like this. Never.
What in the hell is going on here?
Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow.
Going in right now.
We're going to run a camera in Aladdin's cave.
Oh my God, look at that.
Rick Lagina just stumbled upon a seriously creepy treasure after cracking open a hatch that had been sealed for over 200 years. What he found inside is something no one should ever see. There are shadows shifting around, hiding some dark secrets and guarding truths that have been buried for ages. So, why is Rick thinking about wrapping up the show after such a huge discovery? Stick with us as we dive into this wild find that could totally change the history of Oak Island and its unbelievable treasures. This cave is getting a lot of buzz around the world, and people are dying to know if it'll finally answer some of the island's old mysteries. The team is counting on Steve, a data integration whiz, to mix this new info into a detailed 3D model of what's lurking beneath the surface. Everyone's super pumped to see what this model reveals about the underground structures and their historical significance. One thing that really caught Marty Lagina's eye was a sonar image showing a square wall in one part of the cave. This strange feature has sparked a ton of theories among the team. They think this wall might give them some insights into what those who searched for treasures in the money pit were up to. These discoveries are a big deal, offering fresh clues about what went down on Oak Island and showing that the underground areas are way more complex than anyone thought. The team is digging into these clues, trying to piece together the history and efforts of those who explored the island ages ago. This new find could be the missing link to understanding the historical events that have fascinated so many Oak Island fans over the years. While Steve works on the 3D model, the rest of the team chats about why people might have built structures inside the cave. Some think it was a stash for valuables, while others wonder if it might lead to an even bigger hidden area. Everyone's got their own theory, but they're all on the same page when it comes to one thing. They want to uncover what's under Oak Island. At the Money Pit, their excitement grows as they dream about the treasures that could be hidden there. They decide to dig deeper into the cave, driven by the chance to find something significant. With cameras ready to roll for their exploration, they gear up for more digging the next day. Rick Lagina and Craig Tester are leading the charge at the Money Pit, getting a hand from Scott Barlow and the crew from Dumas Contracting Limited. But they're facing a major issue. Water keeps flooding the shaft, making it tough to dig any deeper. About 65 feet down, the team is focusing on an area where water is leaking in. Despite their best efforts, the water just keeps coming, creating a huge challenge that could mess with their plans. They end up discovering something new and unexpected. With all the excitement and determination, some folks might start to wonder if the main goal is to keep the TV audience hooked instead of making real historical discoveries. The island has been searched over and over again, with the same old stories being told to new audiences each time. Every season, the team seems to focus on the same spots and the same tales, always finding just enough to keep people tuning in, but never enough to wrap things up. Critics might argue that if there were really any important treasures or artifacts on the island, they would have been discovered by now, especially with all the modern technology and resources available. But the digging and filming just keep going, fueled by the hope of finding something incredible. This whole saga at Oak Island might actually be less about the treasures and more about keeping those viewer ratings high and the funding flowing. The real treasure of Oak Island might not be buried in the ground, but in the stories that come from all the efforts to explore it. No matter if the team finds what they're looking for or not, Oak Island's biggest treasure could just be the adventures they have along the way. Recently, Dumas Contracting King Limited stumbled upon a new cavern about 65 feet deep, right outside a key area on the island. What's interesting is that this cavern had wooden beams, which hints that there might be something man-made going on under the island. Rick Lagina, always eager to chase new leads, was curious about what this could mean. Could this tunnel lead to a hidden chamber packed with valuable treasures or important historical artifacts? As Rick checked out the newly discovered space, he realized that what looked like a small setback could actually turn out to be a big deal. This cavern might just hold some answers to the long-standing mysteries of the island. However, there's an immediate issue with water leaking into the site, and managing that water is key for any further exploration. They're all eagerly waiting for unexpected discoveries. The team below Oak Island, kind of like the gateway to its lost wealth, was joined by Blaine Carrick, an underwater imaging expert who started to take a closer look at the island's underground features. Their first task was to explore a cave at depths between 140 and 142 feet to see if there were any signs of human modifications. They also looked for any entrances or exits that could give them clues about the historical and functional significance of this underground space. The data they uncovered was pretty remarkable, suggesting several potential spots that hinted at multiple treasure caches hidden beneath the money pit area. Excited by these findings, the team focused on a newly drilled hole they called Aladdin's Cave. They couldn't wait to dive into its depths and see what it held, using a high-definition camera to thoroughly inspect the cave. They wanted to figure out if the cave had been shaped by human hands and to learn more about what was inside. Each image captured by the camera could provide valuable insights into Oak Island's underground landscape. Rick and Marty Lagina saw these discoveries as the result of years of dedication and hard work. Their unwavering belief in the island's hidden treasures pushed them to keep going despite all the challenges they faced. Blaine Carrick, with his expertise in underwater imaging, was central to the investigation of Oak Island's underground. If the team managed to get into the cave, Blaine planned to do a detailed sonar scan to accurately map out the cave's features. This mapping could reveal important information about the cave's structure and origins. Rick Lagina emphasized how significant the initial camera examination of the cavern was. While the camera gave them some insights, there was still a lot left to discover. He pointed out that the camera's scope might be limited, especially when it came to spotting items or structures on the cave floor, which highlighted the need for more thorough exploration. Marty Lagina built on Rick's thoughts, stressing the importance of figuring out whether humans had naturally formed or constructed the cave. He theorized that if Oak Island's legendary wealth was indeed hidden beneath this cave, it could hold the key to answering some of the island's long, strange historical questions. After spotting what might be human-made structures within Aladdin's cave, the team went ahead with a comprehensive sonar scan of the cavern. This scan was crucial for accurately figuring out the cave's dimensions and identifying any tunnels that might lead in or out of the area. Their choice to use the Echo Logger DAS 710 sonar equipment showed their commitment to using the best technology available in their quest. The Echo Logger DAS 710 sonar sensor works by sending out powerful radar waves that bounce off objects and barriers within the cave, including its walls. These reflected waves are then captured and analyzed to create a detailed three-dimensional map of the underwater cave, giving researchers a clear picture of Aladdin's cave. This process is essential for accurately determining whether the cave is a natural formation or something made by humans. So, the Echo Logger DAS 710 did a great job mapping out the area, which is super helpful for figuring out how everything connects on the island. This gives the team some solid insights into the cave's layout and its significance in the bigger picture of Oak Island. The next morning, everyone gathers in their usual spot, buzzing with excitement to check out the 3D image from the sonar scan of Aladdin's cave. What they find is pretty thrilling. a possible human-made entrance in what looks like a natural cave. This discovery really amps up the team's energy, hinting at a hidden room or passage inside the cave. But they still don't know how big or deep it is, which just makes them even more eager to explore Aladdin's cave further as they study the image. They start chatting about what this human-made entrance could mean. Rick Lagina is especially pumped about the idea of getting into the cave, thinking that there might be features buried under the sediment on the floor that could point to some hidden treasures. This possibility drives the team to think about planning a serious and costly exploration of the cave. Marty Lagina jumps in, mentioning that the cave seems to hold stuff you wouldn't usually find in nature, which backs up their theory that they might be onto something important from an archaeological standpoint. The crew decides to drill another hole to help the sonar get a better look deep inside the cave and produce clearer images. This extra drilling should help them figure out if the cave is its own thing or if it connects to other chambers or passages. By getting a better grasp of the cave's layout, they hope to uncover more about its history and find any hidden valuables. The Lagina brothers feel like they're on the verge of unearthing some historical treasures, if they can just get past the clay that's been hiding Oak Island's riches. After weighing the time and resources they'll need, they agree that drilling another hole is the way to go. Even with the challenges ahead, the team is convinced that the potential discoveries make it all worth it. They're all in on this project, believing that each new find gets them closer to solving a long-standing mystery. As they work on reaching what they think is a treasure tunnel beneath the garden shaft, Rick and Marty Lagina are hands-on with Dumas Contracting Limited. The crew has dug down to about 90 to 93 feet, but before they can put in the final wooden support, they need to break through some tough clay. Rick and Marty get ready to jump in and help out at this key moment. Marty reflects on their family's connection to Oak Island, remembering how their grandfather used to work in the mines of Michigan. He emphasizes how special their work on the island is, both historically and personally. When they head down to the excavation site, Rick and Marty tackle the tough job of breaking up the hard clay with a pneumatic jackhammer. This powerful tool uses compressed air to break up the tightly packed clay, making it easier to dig further. Once they've made enough progress, the Dumas crew will use a 3-ton hammer grab tool to clear away the debris, paving the way for the final construction phase. As they keep digging, Rick and Marty deal with the challenges of using heavy jackhammers. Marty points out that the jackhammers often get stuck in the clay, making things even tougher. While they're working away, Rick makes a surprising discovery. He thinks he's hit something solid with the bottom of the spade bit, which might mean they're finally close to that elusive tunnel. Later that day, Rick, Scott Barlow, and Craig Tester get some exciting news. Dumas Contracting Limited has successfully deepened the garden shaft to about 95 feet in the Money Pit area and has reached a tunnel that's reportedly 7 feet high. This tunnel is believed to lead to what they call the Baby Blob and possibly to a big stash of hidden treasures. And now the crew is gearing up to explore its depths. They're hoping to find whatever's hiding down below. When Rick steps into the tunnel, he spots some wooden signs that make him think there could be a wooden structure further in, which could help them explore even deeper. So, they decide to extend the tunnel by another section, adding 32 extra inches of space. As the team digs on, they carefully check out the logs lining the tunnel path. Rick notices that the ground under one of the logs looks hollow, which catches everyone's attention. Excited by this clue, they decide to dig deeper, thinking this lead might actually lead to something good. They also find some circular wooden pieces that stand out. These structures remind them of similar ones found in the famous Money Pit, sparking a lot of speculation about where the tunnels came from. Rick remembers reading an article in Reader's Digest about how the Money Pit had round logs, which makes him believe they're getting close to a big find. Marty shares Rick's excitement and suggests that their 15-year search might finally be hitting a key moment. They could be just a few feet away from the island's original dig site, where they might finally uncover some long-awaited answers. Meanwhile, Jack Begley teams up with Gary Drayton, who's a metal detection expert, at Lot 5 on the island's west side. This new area quickly becomes one of the hottest spots for treasure hunting on Oak Island. Their first digs reveal a stone structure that experts think could be as old as the famous garden shaft. They also find tools that might date back 4 centuries, hinting at a long human presence on the island. One of the coolest finds is half of a Roman coin from 300 BC, which suggests that the island's history goes way back, even further than they thought. Among their discoveries, a large old square nail from the 1700s stands out. Gary Drayton, with his experience, knows it could be pretty important. Marty thinks Lot 5 might hold key clues about who built the strange money pit. As Gary and Jack keep searching, they find another interesting artifact, a beautifully decorated lead coin that really catches their eye. Gary points out that it looks a lot like ancient Roman trade tokens, linking it to the Roman coin they found earlier in the same spot. These tokens were used by private businesses instead of the government and helped with trade back in the day. The discovery of what looks like a Roman trade token on Oak Island raises a ton of questions about where it came from and how it ended up there. They decide to dig deeper into its backstory, sending the artifact to the lab for a thorough checkup. Archaeologists will carefully analyze the token, comparing it with known Roman trade tokens to figure out if it's the real deal and what it might mean. If everything checks out, this find could really shed some light on the interesting history of people who might have visited or lived on the island long before it became a hotspot for treasure hunters. Gary Drayton and Jack Begley were buzzing with excitement after making a cool discovery. They joined Lot, who's just 5, along with Rick Lagina, Craig Tester, and archaeologist Laird Niven at the Interpretive Center. Their mission was pretty simple: to take a closer look at an artifact that could totally change how they view Oak Island's past. Laird was super careful while cleaning the item, getting it ready for a detailed look with the team's X-ray fluorescence (XRF) instrument. This method is gentle but really informative, helping them figure out what the object is made of and where it might have come from. Emma, the specialist in charge of the XRF analysis, oversaw the scanning of the artifact. Once they finished, she gathered everyone to share what she found out. The item, which turned out to be a lead disc or coin, seemed pretty straightforward at first, but there were some complex details when they looked closer. Emma explained that the disc had 2 layers, a lighter one and a darker one. The light layer was mostly lead, with tiny bits of copper and iron. On the flip side, the darker layer was different, packed with about 41% iron and smaller amounts of copper and silicon. The presence of lead in both layers suggested it came from mining operations, raising questions about where it was from and how it was made. To dig deeper, Emma ran an X-ray diffraction scan, and the results were pretty eye-opening. The minerals in the disc matched those found in Iranian mines, sparking chatter about possible connections to ancient trade routes or historical mining in that region. This discovery was huge. Finding a mineral match with Iran opened up all sorts of theories about links between Oak Island and far-off places. While they didn't pinpoint the exact origin, it definitely highlighted an area of interest that stretched across a wider geography. Emma pointed out that there's a geological strip that runs from Iran to Italy, near France and Spain, where the mineral deposits are similar. Interestingly, there's a deposit off the Italian coast that closely matched the lead artifact's makeup. This led the team to wonder if the artifact could have originated from Italy. What would that mean for Oak Island's history? Could it support the idea that the island was connected to the Knights Templar, as some scholars like Zena Halpern have suggested? To explore these questions more, the team decided to reach out to experts in ancient metallurgy and historical artifacts to get a better grasp on the artifact's significance. The insights from these pros were really enlightening. They explained that lead artifacts from ancient Rome were used for all sorts of things, including trade tokens, seals, and even religious items. Thanks to the vast influence of the Roman Empire, these artifacts have popped up in various places, showing just how extensive the trade networks and cultural connections were back then. The thought that the lead artifact from Oak Island might be linked to Italy and could have been a trade token or seal hinted that Oak Island could have been part of a larger trading network that stretched across the Mediterranean. This idea floating around that the Knights Templar, who were pretty big on trading and finance back in the day, might have done some stuff on Oak Island. And then there's that Roman coin they found earlier, which just adds to the whole mystery of the island's history, hinting that people have been around there for centuries. The team is now checking out a new spot, eager to make more discoveries. They're digging around Lot 13, looking for hidden clues buried in the soil. As they dive into researching the artifacts they've found, they start to see how all these historical events are connected. What they initially thought was just a simple lead disc is now looking like a key piece to a much bigger and more interesting story than they first realized. This revelation really drives them to uncover more about how these historical threads are woven together and how they shape what we know today. Craig Tester, who's super involved in the Oak Island explorations, has teamed up again with Rick and Marty Lagina, landowner Tom Nolan, and their crew of explorers to keep digging into what they call the Great Quadrilateral. This stone structure is about 32 feet long and was thought to have been built ages ago. Back in the 90s, the island's previous owner, Fred, who was really into the island's history, even made a detailed plan of this structure. Right now, the team is focusing on the northeastern part, hoping to figure out why it was built and what it was used for. Billy, one of the guys on the team, is operating the heavy machinery to clear away dirt from the structure, while Gary is carefully sifting through the dirt they've unearthed, looking for anything interesting. Gary thinks that the deeper they dig, the better their chances are of finding something cool, especially in Lot 13, where the structure is located. They've already found a few items that got them excited, like a piece of charcoal that they think could be used for carbon dating to figure out when the structure was built. Then, Billy and Gary dug up a heavy curved object, and Gary, always the optimist, guessed it might be a piece of a cannonball, which are often found in certain parts of the southeast U.S. Rick immediately saw the potential importance of this find. If it really is a cannonball fragment, it could give clues about who was on the island centuries ago. Marty pointed out that the area looked like it had been disturbed before, suggesting that other explorers might have moved the stones to hide something valuable. This led him to think the stones could be part of a treasure stash. Feeling pumped by what they found, the team decided to check out the western side of the site, hoping to uncover more about the structure. Each new discovery adds another piece to the legendary puzzle, bringing them closer to understanding the history of the Great Quadrilateral. But even with all their hard work, they still don't have any solid proof, leaving them with more questions than answers. They're driven by the hope that beneath the next layer of dirt, something significant could finally pop up, revealing the long-lost secrets of the island's past. Everyone on the team agrees there's something really unusual about the Great Quadrilateral, which keeps them digging deeper. They found a fragment of pottery and a piece of glass that might date back before the 18th century. These items hint that the site has a richer history than they thought, possibly showing that it was explored or even settled by people long ago. The glass they found near where the land meets the sea suggests that humans were active in that area too. Dr. Spooner, the team's expert, confirmed they've hit the deepest layer of the structure, backing up Fred's earlier claims about it being made of stacked stones. Each artifact they uncover just fuels their determination to figure out the site's history as they keep digging. The excitement of discovery keeps the team motivated, pushing them to continue their explorations into Oak Island's past. Using sonar technology in Aladdin's cave, they spotted what looked like a constructed entryway, which really got the team buzzing. They also found some wood in a tunnel that seems to be from an old structure, likely part of the original money pit. After 15 years of hard work and digging, the team feels like they're on the brink of something big. Plus, they found a piece of lead on site that tested positive for minerals linked to Italy, suggesting there might have been trade interactions and possibly even some involvement from the Knights Templar in this area. These ongoing digs and analyses keep shedding light on the complex history of Oak Island. So, stay tuned for more updates as they keep exploring and coming up with new theories. What do you think the Knights Templar's role could really be in Oak Island's history? Like, comment, and subscribe for more intriguing updates and theories.